What is going on, everyone? It's SpookyLoopz. Happy February, and I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I do apologize for my absence on YouTube for the past week. It's been a rather busy last few days for me on Twitch. On Saturday, we celebrated 10,000 followers with a subathon and managed to get my boomer ass to stream for almost 20 hours. Speaking of which, if you ever wanted to catch a live broadcast, I stream Saturday through Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time over at Twitch. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about some of the big things that are happening at Dead by Daylight in the near future. Last Thursday, Dead by Daylight held a developer Q&A stream where they answered some of the community's questions and unveiled some massive changes coming to the game. The dev stream lasted about an hour and a half, and after the Q&A segment, the devs gave us this.
But we do have a change that's coming up soon that's done and essentially ready, and let's go ahead and announce it. There's a perk that a lot of people like to talk about called Decisive Strike. Decisive Strike. We've talked about this perk a lot internally. The direction we went with was disabling the ability if the survivor does actions that advance their objectives, essentially.
Yes! They did it! Woo! As you can tell from the previous clip, I was pretty happy about the announcement. But let's dive a little deeper into the actual change to Decisive Strike itself. Decisive Strike was introduced into the game to counter getting tunneled by the killer. In case you aren't familiar with the term tunneling, it pretty much means when you're rescued from a hook, the killer takes advantage of your vulnerability and downs you again instantly. In the event of this happening and you have Decisive Strike equipped, when the killer goes to pick you up again, you'll be given the chance to stab the killer in the back. Granted, you hit the skill check, of course. Now, in theory, the perk seems 100% fair and becomes a necessity if the killer in your game is especially playing super aggressive. But here's where the problem arises. The perk becomes active for 60 seconds once you're rescued, and stays active until that duration is complete, meaning survivors are allowed to get back to repairing generators, getting hook saves, and healing teammates. Let's say the killer isn't actively trying to down you immediately after the hook, but notices you're cranking on the objective 45 seconds later. If they down you and pick you up again, they'll be met with a cold shard of glass to their shoulder and be stunned for 5 seconds. Let's go back to a previous clip. I was rescued from the hook and my DS was now active for 60 seconds. I had free range to jump on a generator and save my teammate right in the killer's face because I have the sense of invincibility due to Decisive Strike. The killer downs me as he should because I'm trying to advance the game right under his nose, and boom, I'm able to stab him in the back even though it was my decision to stay in the area. The perk was designed to counter tunneling, not to be used as an insurance policy for 60 seconds. So let's talk about the change. Decisive Strike still remains active for 60 seconds upon being rescued, and the stun duration is still for 5 seconds. All good there. During that time frame, if you interact with a gen, heal someone, cleanse a totem, sabo a hook, or save a teammate, the perk becomes deactivated, as those actions are defined as advancing the game. Meaning if you're willing to stay in the action during those 60 seconds, then you're free game. However, Decisive Strike does not deactivate if you enter a locker or heal yourself. Being that lockers are sometimes used during immediate chases and to heal yourself using inner strength, perk will still remain active. In short, the perk is only there to assist you in the event of the killer chasing you directly after being unhooked, like it was initially designed to do. That's what I call balance. The change to Decisive Strike has been confirmed that it will be coming to the game when the next chapter is released, and not the mid-chapter patch on February 9th. One thing isn't for sure. During the dev stream, they presented a potential change to Object of Obsession. Well, here's what they had to say.
We've talked about this perk, and this is an idea that has survived at least one round of discussion. We thought, you know what, let's go ahead and ask the community. We wanted to keep the idea of a perk that connects you to the killer, that has this sort of like peeking, you see them, they see you kind of gameplay, but maybe it wasn't quite as antagonistic. Survivors can use the current Object of Obsession in a way that is, well, basically they can be very annoying with it. And while it might not be the most powerful perk, it's definitely a frustrating one to see. Figured was, this is a way to keep that aspect of you seeing them, them seeing you, try to keep the obsession element involved. That's why we added the second power, which reveals you to the killer if you are the obsession. So only one player per match is going to be doing the forced reveal. And it's not a downside. It works with the first ability in that if you reveal yourself to the killer is revealed to you. And it's on a timer so that rather than doing it whenever you want, both players kind of get a rhythm of when they know that peak is going to come up. So we wanted to know how you guys felt about that.
Like the devs mentioned in the presentation, this was just a prototype and isn't 100% confirmed that this change will make it to the game anytime soon. Current Object of Obsession allows the survivor to see the killer's aura for as long as they want while they're outside of their terror radius. The proposed change would instead be sort of a peekaboo approach, where the aura of the object and the killer are revealed to each other every 30 seconds. I personally think the change is pretty cool and would encourage both parties to take on different strategies when they're in a trial. But what are your thoughts on the proposed change for Object of Obsession? Let me know down in the comments if you're for or against the idea. On February 9th, we'll be getting the official mid-chapter patch with a bundle of changes. In case you weren't able to play the PTB, the Clown, the Wraith, and the Trapper all had some reworks, some more major than others. There are also a whole bunch of new Survivor locomotive animations, and there's a brand new heads-up display for survivors and killers. Oh, and how can I forget? Hex and Dying got reworked too, so there's always that. Keep an eye out for when the patch drops tomorrow, and I'll leave a link to the mid-chapter patch notes in the description below. Now, I know that some players aren't a fan of the change to Decisive Strike or the proposed idea to Object of Obsession. So before you hit that thumbs down button, just remember, I still love you. Well, my friends, it's about that time, and if you liked the video, please make sure to hit that sub button and click the bell icon so you're notified next time a new video goes up. Big shout out to all my patrons for your support and to all the survivors that left me to die on these hooks while recording this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.